What if you met a cat who had brain surgery before she was old enough to eat solid food? That cat exists, and she also turned out to be an extremely rare orange female. Only about 1 in 5 orange cats is a girl. And that's not all that makes her unique. She also has extra toes on each paw. Her name is Tate, and she was found abandoned on the streets of Philadelphia, nearly starving. She had a brain condition so severe that most cats don't survive it past their 5th birthday. But this miracle kitty is 7 years old today, happy and treated like a tiny queen. It's hard to believe this happy little cat is the same sick, barely 2-week-old kitten she was back in August 2018. She was all alone, no mother, and no shelter that had the resources to take care of a bottle kitten. She was brought to a city shelter in Philadelphia, and that's where Jen Mack stepped in. Jen is the founder of Kit Kat Playroom, an all-volunteer, non-profit cat rescue based in New Jersey. She drove across the entire state to pick up this tiny, scrawny little ginger kitten, who at that point, nobody really knew what to do with. But within a week of coming home, Jen noticed something. There was a large, soft spot on top of Tate's head. A visit to a neurologist at Red Bank Veterinary Hospital confirmed what Jen had feared. Tate was born with hydrocephalus. It's a condition where excess cerebrospinal fluid builds up inside the brain, creating dangerous pressure. In cats, it's often fatal. In a kitten, this small, this young, the odds were not good at all. Over the following weeks, Tate underwent 2 procedures to drain the fluid. After the second emergency drain, her doctors made a decision. It was time for surgery. A magnetic, adjustable VP shunt, the kind used in human babies, would be placed inside her brain. The shunt would divert the excess fluid away from her brain and into her abdomen, where her body could safely absorb it. It was a procedure that had never been performed on a kitten as small as Tate. She was 9 weeks old and weighed less than 2 pounds. But she came through it like a champ. Right after surgery, she was eating, moving around, and using her litter box. In the weeks that followed, she was given 10-minute recess breaks up to 6 times a day. It was structured playtime in a room lined with foam padding and baby bumpers to protect her head. And in those 10 minutes, she went absolutely full throttle. She zoomed around, completely unaware that she had just had major brain surgery or that she was supposed to be taking it easy. Her little caboose, as Jen described it, had its own motor, and there was no controlling it. 6 weeks after the operation, Tate was done with all medications. The vet team was amazed. She was not. She had naps to take. She had Jen's face to sleep next to. She had a whole ground floor to zoom across. Life settled into something sweet, and Tate was growing into an adorable cat who demanded cuddles and didn't take no for an answer. Incredibly playful and curious, she acted like a healthy kitty who had never even seen a hospital, let alone spent days there recovering from surgery. But life with hydrocephalus is never entirely smooth. When Tate was approaching her first birthday, her shunt tubing cracked. It is something that happens so rarely that her vet noted it almost never happens, so naturally it happened to Tate. Fluid began building up in her brain again. She had her first seizure, alone in the dark, early hours of the morning, and was terrified. Jen scooped her up, held her close, and talked to her softly until she calmed down. The shunt was surgically repaired, but the seizures didn't stop entirely. Tate was put on daily seizure medication, which she receives to no one's surprise, hidden inside her treats. This girl and her mom were ready to fight, and despite everything, and it was a lot, it was worth it. There was a hospitalization where she had 17 seizures in 12 hours, including 6 on the drive to the hospital. There was a period when the seizures temporarily took her vision. There were countless trips to see her devoted Dr. Glass at Red Bank Veterinary Hospital. And then there was the news that stopped everyone cold in the best possible way. After one of her hospitalizations, an MRI comparison revealed something extraordinary. Before her shunt, Tate had barely any brain matter. After years of the shunt properly managing her fluid levels, new brain cells had grown. Her brain had actually expanded. This phenomenon, possible in young felines but not in primates or humans, stunned her neurological team. Tate had not just survived. She had, in the most literal sense imaginable, grown into herself. Today, Tate is 7 and waiting for her 8th birthday in August. She lives with her sisters Kenna and Fizz, has her annual checkups with Dr. Glass, takes her medication twice daily inside her churus, and occasionally has a seizure that reminds everyone how complicated her little body is. She has chronic digestive issues that 7 years of veterinary sleuthing haven't fully solved. She recently lost some weight, gained some of it back, and her internist says that for a cat with her history, she looks remarkable. Her coat is soft, her blood work is wonderful. Her attitude is, as ever, entirely her own. She has some quirks that set her apart from every other cat you've probably met. She doesn't care about boxes, a fact that apparently baffles Jen on a regular basis. She sometimes falls asleep sitting straight up, as if she just couldn't be bothered to commit to lying down. Because her depth perception isn't perfect, she often reaches for toys and catches nothing but air. She air scoops toys with absolute conviction and zero accuracy, and it is extremely charming. And she has polydactyly, a genetic trait that gave her more toes than the average cat and apparently more personality to match. She does not know she was the smallest kitten ever to survive the complicated brain surgery. She does not know that neurologists around the world have studied her case, or that the doctors trained through her care have gone on to help others like her. What she knows is that the couch is warm. The churros come twice a day, and her mom is always there every single time she needs her, even when she needs her to take a nap on her face.